we will celebrate something significant today. And I'm really glad that Joy is taking the time with us right now. And I see Joy, you look like maybe 5 years younger already. It looks like you're enjoying it. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I don't look homeless anymore, so that's good. Had to get cleaned up a little bit before I went down last week. So
1 week already done, right? I mean, you
yeah,
are in
yeah.
this new career, new option. So maybe I can start with a quick introduction, and I will obviously give the microphone to you and kind of hear, what you think and what you feel about all of this. So when we first met, right, Joey,
Mhm.
Joey was really passionate about cyber. Like we talked about it, he was interested in this, but there were certain things which was not in place, maybe which was not working. Obviously, I would like to listen to you about all of this.
Mhm.
From a position, a career, a role which was not working. B, now everything is like exciting and then ready for the next level. So why don't you just tell us more about this, like your background, what was not working for you earlier?
Yeah, so I'd say I came to you around March of last year, I think it was.
I think so.
After I was going to another boot camp here in the US at I won't mention the university's name, but tends to be with cyber being as hot as it is, where it's just kind of like get students in and out as fast as possible and place them in some job they may not be excuse me, suited for.
Mhm.
So it's not really tailored. And then I came to you and you said, okay, well, this is what you should kind of gear your focus to. Because I spent, what is it now? I'm aging myself, but 8 years in medical device and pharmaceuticals, quality systems. So it was a lot of auditing and looking at things like that. So everyone that wants to get into cyber is definitely more so. I want to be a pen tester. Like even the CEO at my company now says when there's pen testing roles, they'll get 300 applications and probably only 20 of them warrant really any, you know, looking. But when they post like an audit role or something, they get about 50. So I mean, I don't Peak Cyber Institute definitely does a good job at kind of telling you where you should go through all the exercises. And
Mhm.
I wish I would have probably been finished quicker if I would have actually listened and didn't do my own thing all the time. But we're here now, so
Exactly. As long as you get you see the finish line, like, it doesn't
yeah,
matter. It's
yeah.
2 months or 6 months, as long as you
Mhm.
get there. But what's happening
Exactly.
right now? Tell us more about your current situation, role, and responsibilities. Like,
Yeah, so I'm an analyst now in the ISO team. So I'll be
Mhm.
more focused on ISO 27001
All right.
audits moving forward. But the plan is to pretty much be the lead implementer and be able to do that stuff by myself in the next 6 to 12 months. So it's kind of a startup company.
Mhm.
I was the 38th employee current right now, 48th hire overall. So
All right.
it's nice to be with a company where I grow with them. So there's a lot of
Mhm.
things that if you see something, you do it or you fix it yourself and people listen to you. So
Mhm.
that's cool right now, just training, so nothing is too crazy, but with the next couple of weeks I'm sure we'll ramp up.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
great. Like, what about the kind of, you know, lifestyle or maybe like the goals that you have set for yourself earlier? Like, be it financial goals, lifestyle goals, working from home, like contribution, enjoying the things that you kind of want to enjoy in your career. Where
Yeah,
do you see
so
yourself?
so I mean, we haven't quite hit the financial goal yet, but
Okay.
that'll come with more time and experience. I kind of went pretty high on that one, so with the next couple of years I'll definitely be at that, if not surpassing
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Like I woke up this morning, didn't have to rush, start my car in the snow because we constantly keep getting snow over here.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm in sweatpants and up top, so no one can see anything. So it's quite easy to get ready in the morning and everything. Way less stress, to be honest. I mean, I did just start, so I'm sure there will be some stressors, but the company told me right away, they said, we try our best to keep everyone around 40 hours. So they don't want people cranking out those weekends or late Friday nights. Everything is a pretty set schedule since it's consulting. They like to keep track of how many hours you're spending on projects to just maintain profitability.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it fits perfectly within lifestyle. If it's just 40 hours, you know, you may be held over sometimes, but it's not in expectation of you're going to work more than 40 hours every
Mhm.
week. So
Mhm.
it's
That
really
was
nice.
kind of one of your stresses, I guess, earlier, right? Like in your previous roles, working overtime or maybe like challenges at work.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I wake up every day not knowing, I know what time I would get to work, but I wouldn't know what time I was going to come home. So that was kind of like, it was hard to plan stuff and all that. So not anymore.
All right. I'm really glad to hear that. But what do you think about like during the process? Obviously, kind of you learned a lot. There was different
Mhm.
obstacles, maybe challenges that you kind of, you had to overcome. Like, tell us more about this in terms of what kind of things that you feel like you should have followed or executed earlier, maybe in a different way, words of wisdom. Like, how do you feel about this?
I say probably create a daily schedule and execute on that every single day so stuff doesn't build up too much.
Mhm.
Obviously, if you're working full time doing this, stuff's going to build up. But you, a dream is just a dream until you execute on a plan, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's cliche, but unless you execute on that plan, you're still going to be in the same spot you were a year ago. I mean, that's what I failed to do in the beginning. I don't know if you remember, but I wanted to drop out. I don't know if you remember that.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. So, so
I'm
that
glad
was,
you didn't. I'm glad you did it. I'm
yeah,
glad, like,
thank God. Thank God. But, yeah, if someone is guiding you and you're here in the program, you're here for a reason because you want to be, but now it's basically just executing on that plan.
Mhm.
And that's
So
literally all you have to do.
just execute. Or
Yeah.
execution is
Yeah.
kind of worship. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Like, Joe, when I look at you, like all the obstacles, all the kind of different challenges that you have faced and you overcome, like I feel like, okay, if someone is committed enough, maybe it doesn't happen in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, but it will come. It will come. And I think you're a great example of this, to be very honest with you, because there were obstacles and you kind of got married as well, right? And during the process, took a lot of time. And congratulations, by the way, once again.
Thank you.
And now, like, total different lifestyle, and lots of opportunities as well for growth, right? Because you mentioned that ideally in the next 6 months, 1 year, like you will position yourself as the leader of those auditing tasks and projects. But like, why don't you tell us more about this? Like, what is happening? What would happen in the next 6 months, 1 year, 5 years from now? What are the plans for you?
Well, I mean, those goals are goals that my boss set out. Obviously, I want to do them faster through executing. I put together another plan for myself for, this year, and then trying to think 10, 25 years in the future is it's a challenge because that's not something most people do. But there was a book that most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 10.
Yeah.
So
Love it.
I really love this company. It is kind of like my dream job. I don't want to just stop here, so to speak. I want to climb up. So the chances of you probably landing that checks every box, sometimes you got to work to check every single box. You're not going to make $1 million right away.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you invent something, which God bless if you do that. But for me, I didn't invent anything. So yeah.
At the end of the day, like when you see the finish line, when you see the result, like we've been talking about this just today with someone else. Like, it doesn't really matter much if you know that you will hit your outcomes, okay, eventually at some point. Well, life sometimes it throws different curveballs. Sometimes it's more challenging for you. Maybe you are coming from a different background, this, that, whatever. It doesn't matter as long as you kind of stay connected to your goals and purpose. So I'm really glad to see, like, hey, you kind of like the company, you enjoy what you do. And in fact, that was your first interview, first application, or?
So I did the application spraying a little bit, but I knew that wasn't going to work. I just was throwing things out. I spoke to one other company. I wasn't anything that was, real promising, but like my first full interview process, yeah, that was this one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, can I mean, if I may?
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
Joey, you know, hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, we had a few conversations as well, didn't we? I think the area you focused on, you've chosen, is actually quite amazing, really, because first of all, it's 27001, you said, wasn't it? 27001 assessments, right? So that gives you, when you go and do an assessment like that, that gives you a really amazing view of your client organization. You know, you've got to know right across the board. You've got to assess things. You've got to interview people. You've got to look at their processes. You've got to compare that against the standards. So you know, it's, if you were, for instance, if you were looking at, you know, pen testing, then it's a narrower space, isn't it, that you're working in. If you're doing assessments of 27001, you have to look across the whole organization. So you get to know the client pretty well. You get to meet lots of people in that organization. So that in itself. And then you say that it's a startup, only 35 people. So you will have quite an influential position in there, because all the processes aren't set there. You know, they're looking at someone like you to say, can you, as you deliver your consulting, can you actually put the processes, the best practice process, the templates, all of those things, it's up to you to actually put. So you get a lot of responsibility pretty quickly. And that means that you can accelerate your progress in your career faster than you would if you're going into an organization where everything's in place and it's more difficult to make a mark for yourself.
I mean, it's pretty cool when the president and the CEO are there on your first day and everyone introduces themselves to you. The CEO and president are sitting with everyone else. So, you know, eventually when they grow to, you know, 150 people, that may not be the case. I'm sure they'll still try, but the culture of where you work is very important, because you do have to spend a lot of time there. So that is always my first question is in interviews is what's the turnover rate and what's the average tenure of the employees. Because you can really learn anything essentially, but it's cool. I'm excited to get going and getting a couple other certifications this year that they'll pay for. So it's
that's another perk, isn't it? And kind of like a follow-up from that, and I really don't want to take much of your time, maybe like one, two more questions. Regarding, like, many people are so afraid for their next role. Maybe it's their first cyber job. Maybe it's their like 10th. Maybe they have like 20, 30 years of experience. Maybe it will be their first. But regardless, many times what I see, that people are in a way afraid because they don't know what's going to happen. And they feel like they are not ready, they're not enough. So that's why they go back to learning and learning, which never ends essentially, because there's always something more to learn. So where do you see yourself? Like, you have started this so far, it's been 1 week, right? Okay. Yeah. So in terms of what's happening right now, do you feel like, oh my God, it's too complicated? Or is it like an onboarding process happening right now for you? Like, you know, what do you think?
I mean, honestly, it's pretty easy right now. I'm sure it won't be, but I mean, kind of like, if you're in an environment that breeds growth and constant learning, I mean, I'm one of 3 other analysts, so they call us like the original 5 of the group, right? Because we are but the 2 other analysts that I'm with, one senior, one regular analyst, we're all career changers. Every single one went through some sort of boot camp. And obviously you remember the small case study I had to put together, right? But besides the case study, I mean, the technical questions they asked me were very basic, pretty much the same level of Security Plus. So if anyone is getting that certification already passed, I mean, from this position, it was not challenging as well. I also tried to steer the conversation and let them know where my learning was and what I'm doing to kind of bridge that gap. And really, if someone's not willing to give you a chance based on that, you probably don't want to work there anyway. It's going to probably be a toxic environment. So, yeah.
Love it. Joey, first of all, congratulations. Once again, it's like, you know, your entire progress is such an amazing journey, such an inspiration to everyone. So, like, any final words of wisdom, or kind of like an advice, if someone is interested, if someone really wants to do this, but afraid of something, or like, I don't know, anything that you can just warn them about or kind of give advice on something?
Well, the dreams you have aren't going to do themselves. So, I mean, you can always come up with an excuse for everything. Everyone's got excuses. I mean, even now, people will say something, we won't be talking about this, but with their excuses, stop. Do something else, do something. It comes back to the execution plan. So if you want this, you have to execute and you'll be fine. It might take a little longer, you don't know. But every day when you wake up, have those goals in mind and just execute.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, and if anyone
So
wants
look,
to message me or anything, you can do that too.
I mean, that's for sure. In fact, as you know, we have the Cyber Momentum group for our graduates, so that we, you know, stay in touch every month. You know, hope to see each other, so that, you know, we can bounce off ideas and then just check in with each other, and then see maybe there are different opportunities. Because at the end of the day, it never ends. It's career. Maybe in the next couple of years, someone wants to, you know, upgrade once again, change the trajectory. Maybe wants to try something else different, because we are all human beings. So that's why we have that. And I look forward to seeing you in the next session. In February, right? Towards the February, the last Wednesday of each month. So we have this continuous group and a dedicated Slack channel as well. So we most definitely stay in touch, Joey, because that's, you know, that's the best part. And you can maybe drop your LinkedIn URL as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I can do
to chat. Yeah, so that, you know, our members can add you and then maybe say hi, etc. Because, wow, hell of a journey, but I'm glad to see the finish line with you. Like, you know, all the ups and downs, because it's life, isn't it? It's not like this, or it's not like this. There's always ups and downs.
Nothing will ever be straight. It's like going up a mountain summit. There'll be plateaus and you just got to keep going.
Exactly. So we should definitely, you know, stay in touch. I'm super proud, super happy for you. And yeah, I'll see you maybe in the next session. And thanks for taking time once again and kind of sharing your insights.